Today I'm going to show you how to fix this One Connect box for a Samsung The Frame TV with model number QN65LS03B The issue the customer was experiencing was that the TV would intermittently shut off and eventually it went completely dead with no power. So let's go ahead and confirm the symptoms using one of our test sets. I've already plugged in the One Connect box to power. Let's connect the One Connect cable. And this is a 50-inch model, but it is going to be compatible for our testing purposes. Now I'm not getting a standby light. And when I press the power button, nothing happens. So that does confirm our symptoms are with the One Connect box. So my next step is to open it up and take a closer look inside. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nick. I started Nick's TV Repair over a decade ago, and just in the last couple of years, we have fixed hundreds of these One Connect boxes. Now that we've exposed the power supply, my first step is to check the fuses for continuity. In continuity mode, when we have continuity, I will get a beep from my multimeter. We have one main fuse over here. And I do have continuity. I did have to pierce through some of the silicone here. My second fuse over here, and we also have continuity. So typically I would have expected at least one of those to have failed open and not have continuity. Let's do one more test, but let's remove the power supply out of circuit completely. So we have one connector to the right and two silver screws. On this specific power supply, there is one transistor that commonly fails, and it's this one over here. So we're going to flip the board over and do a measurement from the back side. But for this step, we're going to switch to the microscope. And the transistor in question is right over here. So we have one leg here and one leg over here. And sure enough, I have continuity, which indicates that that transistor is shorted. I am noticing a burn spot here and here. So let's do another continuity check. And again, sure enough, we do have a short. So that confirms it that that transistor is shorted and will need to be replaced. If we look over here, there is a resistor that looks like it's burnt and will also need to be replaced. Now it doesn't look burned or damaged, but this IC chip right here often also shorts out and needs to be replaced along with this resistor here, which I think I do see a burn mark on the top. It's not as obvious as this one, but if we do a resistance measurement, I am getting an open reading with my multimeter. Now, before we can start any repairs, we're going to want to remove a lot of this silicone that is encasing the ICs, the resistors, transistors, and then we'll be able to start our desoldering process. Oh, look at that. It seems that the pin actually completely came out. So the pin of the transistor burnt off completely. If you have a defective One Connect box you would like to send in for us to fix, we offer flat rate repair services on our website, which come with a 1-year warranty, and the links will be in the video description down below. Now, something I would like to point out is the fact that this pin got damaged to the point where it is separated from the transistor. So that actually makes sense. The fuse didn't blow. It should have blown and prevented that type of damage from occurring. Because it didn't blow, it allowed a lot of power to go through and damage the transistor, the resistors around it, as well as most likely that IC chip, which we'll check in here in just a second. Something else I want to point out is this pin over here. If I push on it, you can see it's moving a little bit. And if we zoom in some more, we'll also notice a crack. If we pay close attention, there's a dark line right there. That's physical separation of the pin from the joint. If I push on it, you can see it gets worse. So the reason that the other pin burnt off is because of that. There's probably even worse crack on the other pin. With that separation, it most likely caused arcing, which caused a lot of heat, and that's what ended up damaging the whole board here. So I'm going to use this donor board to identify the burnt components, and then we're going to use the components from this board to replace the ones on this one. I'm going to start by removing the resistors that are burnt, and we're going to do so by adding solder first to both sides. There we go. And we'll use desolder wick to remove a little bit of that excess we added. We have another one over here. And a third one over here. Okay, quick little check. Do we have any other resistors in the area that were burnt? No, I don't think so. Next, we're going to desolder the IC chip. It is known to also commonly fail, and it will fail shorted typically whenever that transistor shorts out, which it is shorted. We did check both of those pins were shorted to ground or shorted to one another. For the removal of the IC chip, we're going to be using the hot air station. And I'm going to use my iron at the same time actually. Just going over the pins. The goal is to get to the solder's melting point as quickly as possible. There we go. The quicker we can be, the less heat stress we can inflict on the board, and the less likely we are to damage the board. Same thing. We can go ahead and desolder the pads next. And finally, we'll desolder the transistor. Now for the last leg, we're actually going to hold off on that. And what we're going to do instead is unscrew the transistor from the top. I should be able to get the rest with the fingers. There is a transformer right here, which makes it very difficult to unscrew these. There we go. And the transistor is encased in silicone. So I'm going to be using a X-Acto blade to cut the silicone around it. We do want to be careful because there are actually other components inside of this silicone. So we don't want to damage those. Okay, now, so I'm holding the transistor with the needle nose pliers from below. I'm going to melt the solder from the top. I'm wiggling the transistor. We can see one of the legs is moving. The other one I'm trying to desolder is not. Oh, go ahead and desolder all that. There's a lot of extra solder here. And we're probably going to have to desolder it from the top as well a bit. Just going to remove a little bit more of that silicone here so we can see what's going on. All right, we've cleared out a little bit more. As you can see, there is a component right here and a capacitor over here. So those are the ones that I was mentioning we have to be cognizant of. There we go. We're now able to clear up that hole. Now that the transistor is out of circuit, we're going to redo a continuity test. We no longer have a short. And no short. Perfect. Now let's check the transistor now that it's out of circuit. Yep, and it's shorted on all three legs are shorted to one another. So that does confirm it was defective and definitely needed to be replaced. We're going to start by installing our new resistors. I've already scavenged them off of a donor board. So I just added a little bit of solder to one side. And we're going to slide in the resistor. Now we can lock in the other side. There we go. We'll repeat the process over here. And our last third resistor here. Lock in the other side. Perfect. We'll do the same for the IC chip. We're going to add solder to one pad, slide in the IC. We just want to make sure it's perfect before we lock in another side. If I need to make an adjustment, right now's the time. I'm going to add flux to all the joints. Clean up that bridge here in a second. We're going to do the same for the resistors, just to make sure the joints have really good flow. Beautiful. Now it's very unusual, but it is possible that perhaps this capacitor got damaged. And when I say damaged, I mean from the short on the transistors. Like I said earlier, the fuse commonly blows. It did not this time, which means that it's possible we got more damage to this board than we're typically used to seeing. So I don't see any burning inside of the silicone. Okay, it looks like this is a 47K 2kV capacitor. And you know what? I think it's going to be okay. So we typically never see this capacitor go out, but I just wanted to be sure because on different types of power supplies, we have seen those go out in the past, especially when we see those transistors fail like that. Now, in order for us to install that replacement transistor, we're going to want to make sure we have a very clean surface. We want to get rid of any impurities. For our replacement transistor, we're going to push that middle leg forward a little bit, just like that. We'll add some MX4 thermal paste. Very good high-end thermal paste to use for transistors. I'm going to try and spread it out evenly on the transistor. Feed the component through. And I'm going to hand tighten the screw for the first bit. And you actually don't want to go with the screwdriver because for that first part, you might thread the screw incorrectly. All right, and then to tighten it, I'm actually going to use the needle nose pliers. There we go. And now we're ready to solder it in. So what we're going to do here actually is, because we have partially damaged pad, is we're going to bend the leg down so that it connects here. Perfect. We'll cut off the excess from the legs of the transistor. And we're back in continuity mode. We get a beep when we have continuity. We just want to do one last check. Still no continuity and no continuity. So we definitely have gotten rid of the short. Let's do one more check on our fuse in the front here. Yep, still good. I did a couple extra double checks. Everything looked good, so we can go ahead and plug it in and do a live test. The board just clicked on. I set my multimeter to DC mode. We're going to do a voltage check. We're supposed to be getting 13 volts. We're getting 12.9. That's exactly what we want to see. And then over here, I believe we're supposed to be seeing around 350 volts. And we're getting 347.4. All right, let's go ahead and put the power supply back in the One Connect box, and then we'll do a final live test with the TV. So we'll plug in power one more time and the One Connect cable. I just heard it click, and we have our standby light and picture. So that confirms we have a successful repair. If you found the video helpful or useful, make sure to leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.